Welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Vivian, and in today's video we are going to be reading viral TikTok books. They have so much chemistry. It is a thick book, because of the first few chapters. There isn't really anything special. I've decided to actually DNF. I have been wanting to do this video for a very long time. I'm finally doing it. Yeah, let's get into this video because I have actually read all the books in this video. This is just an introduction clip, and I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. I had such a great time making it, and stay tuned to the end to hear my thoughts on all of these books. So let's get right into this video. So we're starting this vlog with 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This is a very popular booktok book. It's all over TikTok, and I've seen so many people rave about this, so I finally got the book and I finally am going to dive into this. It is not a very long book. It is only 300 something pages, so I think I can get through this pretty quickly. Also, this book is about second chance romance. It's about two authors who fell in love in a week in June, which is why 7 Days in June, and they then meet a few years later and they rekindle their romantic relationship. I'm excited to dive into this. Let's get started with this book. So I've read 7 Days in June. I am currently at chapter 5. So for the first 4 chapters, I feel like they're mainly focusing on talking about the two main characters and their characteristics, their family background, their family dynamics, all of those things. And it lets us understand the main characters more before they really dive into the romance. I like it because I get to understand their emotions better. It definitely hasn't been boring. I really enjoyed getting to know them as two separate people. I also have yet to read any book that centers around Black people. So this kind of is a different kind of book that I've yet to read, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know how it's gonna go in the next few pages, but I have decided to annotate this book. And when I decide to annotate a book, I usually have a good inkling that it's gonna be a good book. Sometimes it's not, but sometimes, usually it is. I'm gonna continue reading this. I'm having a good impression about this so far. Hopefully TikTok doesn't fail me. So yeah. My hair is wet because I just took a shower. Please ignore that. I wanted to hop in and give a quick update. So right now I am almost halfway through 7 Days in June, and I'm really liking the story so far. I find that with this book, I like the present day romance a lot more than their past. And with other second chance romance books like Love in Other Words, Every Summer After, and Before We Were Strangers, I liked their past romance more compared to their present romance more, like when they were childhood friends. But for this one, I definitely like them as mature adults a lot more because they just seem less toxic. And I definitely feel like you guys should check out trigger warnings. I went into this book a little bit blind. There are a few in this book and they are pretty intense, so check them out before reading it. The romance portion, I don't know what's about it, but I really like the two characters together. They have so much chemistry and like they're meant to be, like they're soulmates. Yeah, I'm excited to continue and I will give you guys more updates as I go on. I am now at page 258. I am so close to the end, less than 100 pages. And I have been enjoying reading this book so far. You get background stories of the people that surround these two characters. And I feel like with those stories you get to know the main characters a lot more. I love the storytelling, I love the writing. I feel like she writes quite similarly to Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I feel like the writing is similar in that it's like sometimes it's really funny, it's really witty, but also it's really dark and deep, and there's like this underlying meaning to all of the comedic things that she talks about. I feel like sometimes it's very difficult to talk about a book that has been giving me lots of emotions. Like this is the type of book that I had to like put down after reading a few pages because it gives me lots of thoughts and I just have to like think through them sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading this. I'm probably going to finish this in like an hour, so I'm gonna continue reading and then we're gonna pick another new book. We're gonna pick another book talk book and I'm excited. So I finished reading 7 Days in June yesterday, and I decided to pick up another book yesterday night. And I picked up Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is the second book in this Knock 'em Out series. The first one is Things We Never Got Over. Both of them are really popular TikTok books, but I read the first book already, so now I'm reading the second one and I'm excited. I have read 40 pages, so I'm in the middle of chapter 3. I wasn't expecting this book to be this thick. I opened the wrapping and when I looked at the last page, it's 574. That's a thick book. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this, but we're gonna try. And yeah, I'm hoping that this is gonna be great because it is a very popular TikTok book and everyone has been raving about it. I'm gonna continue reading this and I'll give you guys updates when I have. Hi, I'm back in this spot. Today is actually Sunday. On weekends, it's a little bit harder for me to film and to read because I'm always out throughout the day. And I have read 150 pages of Things We Hide from the Light. I am in chapter 14. I'm currently not really sure about my feelings towards it. I'm not getting bored by the storyline. I just feel like the chemistry between Nash and Lena are not as strong as Nox and Naomi were, so that's where I'm at. But obviously this is a really thick book. This is like 570 pages and I'm only 150 in, so maybe it's a slow build-up. I'm going to wait on that. I'm gonna continue reading because I am enjoying the storyline. I'm enjoying reading about Nash and how he's kind of battling his scars, and I'm trying to figure out as well what Lena's all about. I'm gonna try my best to read more today and I will give you guys an update tomorrow because I am tired. I've been out the whole day. I barely read today actually. I think I only read like 20 pages today and I tried to read on my Kindle as I was on the way, but it was also really difficult and I'm currently still enjoying it, but I'll need to read more to have a clear idea of how I like the story so far. So it is currently the afternoon and I was running errands this morning, so I didn't film anything. Yesterday I actually read a lot. So I stopped at chapter 25 yesterday, and that is page 276. And then I read 50 more pages this morning, so now I'm at chapter 30, page 329. Considering how the previous book that I read, which was 7 Days in June, was 320-ish pages, I have read that much, but I'm like only a little bit halfway through this book. It is a thick book, but for some reason, even though it's a thick book, I don't really feel like it's boring. What I feel like is different is that this had a first book, which is Things We Never Got Over, and in this book they kind of try and wrap up the unfinished business that happened in the first book, and that is why most of the plot revolves around that, and that's also why I feel like it's not very boring. The romance part, I've also heard some people say that it's slow burn, but in my opinion it's not really slow burn because there are some things happening, but there's not a lot of things happening. Slow burn would be like Mariana Zapata's From Look Off With Love. I feel like that's slow burn, but this one, not really a slow burn. We're getting snippets of romance here and there. We're not getting like the full-blown eruption of chemistry yet. We're still in the middle of it. I don't feel like any part of it is boring, which is very good because for a romance book, this is really, really thick. Thankfully, the plot is not just romance. There are mystery, and there's also the relationships between the people in the small town, the sibling relationship between Knox and Nash, the friendships that are currently blooming in this book. And also I feel like all of the characters that appeared were pretty substantial and significant to the plot, so that's why it's not boring. That's why I'm having a lot of fun. With that being said, there isn't really anything special with the book as of right now. I don't feel that emotional, heart-wrenching feeling I had when I was reading 7 Days in June. That's the difference between this book and that one. But because we're, once again, not even close to ending this book, maybe I need to read more to kind of get that, you know, emotional, heart-wrenching feeling. My goal is to finish this today because I think I can do it. I only have like 250 pages to the end. That's a lot of pages. I'm at the epilogue. 20 more pages to the end. Done, guys. I finished reading it. There's still like this bonus epilogue a few years later. I'm gonna read this like in my own time, but I'm basically done with the book. It was a very, very happy ending. I am going to sit in my feelings once again. I always have to sit on the book for a bit. Anyway, I'm gonna pick up my next book because I'm in the mood to continue reading, but I'm done with this book, so I'm gonna pick a new book and we're gonna read. And oh my gosh, I am so happy with how this ended. I'm so happy with how everything went on. There's one part that I didn't like, but other than that, this book was great. And it was 570 pages, but it didn't feel like 570 pages. I'm happy about this. I'm back in the same position. I think I need to change positions. Hi, so I am reading Archer's Voice. I actually started this morning instead of yesterday night because I had work to do yesterday night, and I'm currently at page 58 in the middle of chapter 7, and the first few chapters are actually really sad. I'm currently super emotional because of the first few chapters. They really tugged at my heartstrings, and I don't know if it's gonna be like that the whole story, but it's really devastating to read those first few pages. But other than that, it's going great. The flow has been great. I am going to try to power through this. I think I can. It's been a really easy read. That's my plan, and I will get back to you guys with more once I have opinions about this book. Hello, I want to give a quick update. I'm currently at chapter 20. This is page 184, so I'm basically halfway through this book. Chapter 19 was probably the hardest chapter I had to read. If you guys read the book, I think you'll understand. It was really hard. It was really difficult for me. I think I skimmed most of it because it was actually really painful to read, and I didn't want to bring myself to that point where I feel uncomfortable reading something. I did skim through it just to get a gist and to make sure I don't miss anything out. But yeah, I'm at chapter 20 now, but I'm gonna take a break because that was really hard on me. I'm very happy that I'm halfway through. Hi guys, I am in my office space, so a little change in scenery and some weird things in my background, but I wanted to kind of give a quick update before I go back to work. I have decided to actually DNF Archer's Voice. Let me explain. I had a whole night to think about this because I read a lot yesterday. I read more than halfway through, and right now I am less than 100 pages left to the end. I decided to DNF it for many reasons. Most importantly, I found that the writing style of this author I didn't really like. It felt very clumsy. It wasn't sophisticated. The flow of the writing wasn't very well crafted. I did write notes on my phone, by the way. As I was reading, I wrote, romantic part sounded cringy, a lot of repetition involved, brackets, someone winked twice in a row, and some descriptions were not usual and made me feel icky. I gave it a try again this morning, but I decided to just put it down. I think this book wasn't for me. I had high expectations, obviously, because on Goodreads the rating is 4.3. I have heard so many great things from booktubers. A lot of things that happened in the book I also didn't feel comfortable with reading, but I also think the way Archer and Bree got together was a little bit unusual, and also it didn't sit right with me. The writer also had a lot of descriptions of Bree going throughout her day in the first few chapters of the book, and that one was a little bit boring for me to read. I just felt like the romance started to become cringy throughout the latter half of the book, and I couldn't get through it. Like, I was forcing myself, and I didn't want to force myself to read a book. I hope I don't offend anyone. I know a lot of people like it, and I don't want to offend anyone. This is my opinion. You guys have your own opinions, and I respect them. I will come back to you guys with a final update of all the 3 books, but I am so sorry. Archer's Voice just wasn't for me. I am here to wrap up the vlog. I'm also going to give my thoughts on each book because I didn't really do that throughout the vlog. I just ended it and went to a new book. I read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams first. This book was freaking amazing. I loved every single part of it. I annotated to the bones. The writing was beautiful. It was captivating. I loved the quotes. I loved the characters. I had such a great time reading it. Please check trigger warnings if you're looking to read this book. It is a lot darker and deeper than I expected. Everything from the plot to the writing I definitely enjoyed, but I must say that the epilogue, I felt like, in my opinion, was not needed. I would have liked this book better if there was no epilogue portion and if it just ended in the last chapter. Regardless, I did enjoy this book so much. I thought the relationship between the main characters were special. I also loved their chemistry together. I think about them most of the time, and even throughout reading the other books, I still had 7 Days in June in my head. So I gave this book 4.5 stars. Not a full 5 stars because I didn't really like the epilogue. I thought it was unnecessary, and there were a lot of pop culture references in this book that I didn't really understand. So 4.5 stars, but overall still recommended. Such a good plot, such a good book. Next book I read is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This book was thick. If you guys watched the whole video, the only thing I say about this book is that it's really, really thick. But even though it is 570 pages, I didn't feel bored at all while I was reading this book. The side characters were also cute. I thought they were pretty useful to the plot. I loved Knox and Naomi's appearance in this book. I felt like they made this book a lot better, to be honest. Without them, I think I would have felt like this book was a little bit boring. Nonetheless, I did enjoy reading everything. The friendships, the relationship between Knox and Nash were really cute. Knox, Lucien, and Nash were also really cute. So I liked everything about this book. I did, however, feel like the chemistry between Nash and Lena were slightly lacking. It felt to me, at least, that it was more like lust driven, so that part really threw me off. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this book. I still loved every single part of it. Things We Hide from the Light is 4 stars. The last book I read is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is a DNF, so I will not have a star rating for all my DNF books. Last bit I read is page 270 something, which is like in the middle of chapter 26. So that's the last bit that I read, and then I decided not to continue reading it because I mentioned in the video already that I felt like some parts were uncomfortable for me to read. Writing was mediocre at best, and I didn't connect to the characters as much. I know a lot of people like it, but this is my personal preference and my opinion. We have come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me read all of these books. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I hope to make more videos like this. I hope to make more reading viral TikTok books because I feel like I have yet to read a lot of popular books that are currently in the reading world right now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!